Hello and welcome Business Central Insights users. If you're using Business Central together with Business Central Insights, you already have great visibility across sales, operations and finance. You can see what's happening in the business in dashboards, reports and trends. But insight alone doesn't drive performance. Leadership doesn't just want answers, they want alignment and action. Are we on track against targets? Who owns each outcome? Where are we at risk and why? And what happens when performance slips? That's exactly what Power BI scorecards and goals are designed for. Scorecards turn reporting into performance management. They connect live Business Central metrics to targets. They evaluate performance automatically using status rules. They assign owners, they enable check-ins to capture context and actions, and they can trigger workflows so teams respond faster. In this session, we'll show you how to build scorecards using Business Central Insights measures. You'll see how to operationalize them with status rules, check-ins, subscriptions and goal following, Teams collaboration, as well as Power Automated workflows. So let's begin inside Power BI. Before building scorecards, a quick governance recommendation. For enterprise deployments, best practice is to create a workspace dedicated to scorecards. This separates executive KPI governance from report development and semantic model management. How to create it? You go to Workspaces, select New Workspace, then name it. Let's put in Executive Tracking, and then you click Apply down the bottom. Now you create your scorecards inside this workspace. If you're a smaller team, you can also keep scorecards in the same production workspace as the reports. Just keep governance and ownership clear. An important security note, scorecards do not support row-level security. Security is controlled by workspace roles and goal-level permissions. So in practice, workspace design becomes your primary governance lever. Now let's build a scorecard. Firstly, select New Item, and then Scorecards over here on the right, and then you name it. This is the leadership cockpit, a compact set of goals that define whether the business is winning. Executive scorecards are typically structured around 5 dimensions: profitability, growth, customer reliability, inventory efficiency, and cash discipline. In this demo, we'll focus on the first two, profitability and growth versus plan. So let's add our first goal, gross profit. We type that into the goal name. And next, assign an owner. I'm already in there. This defines who is responsible for the goal. Then in the current value, we'll select the drop down here and connect to data. Now choose the workspace, Finance Insights, and click Next. Then the specific report in which the metric you want to track is displayed. Let's use the Finance Overview, and then the specific metric or visual. In this case, I will click the gross profit KPI up here, and you'll notice if I click on the visual, a pop-up opens, and then all the options available are in this drop-down. Simply select gross profit fiscal year to date, and then connect. Now your goal is fully automated. I can then add fiscal year to date into the name for better clarity. It's important to note, Power BI allows you to connect to any app and any report, visual, measure, access value, and individual data point. Doing this ensures your scorecard updates automatically when your data set refreshes. You can set the target from a data source, or I can put in a target manually. Let's put in 50 million. You can then set the status. Each goal has a status indicator, which shows you how performance compares to the defined target and timeline. They are color coded, providing a clear visual cue of how each goal is performing. At a glance, you can quickly see progress, with green indicating goals that are on track and red highlighting areas that may require more attention. These status indicators provide an immediate visual summary of performance, allowing you to quickly identify whether objectives are being met. You can customize how the status is calculated by selecting Setup Rules here. This allows you to define thresholds based on a percentage of your target achieved, for example. You might define on track when performance is above 90% of target, like this. So change that to percentage and then type in 90. And then change the status here to on track and then save. And you could add rules for all the different permutations there that were there. This ensures your goal reflects performance accurately according to your organization's specific goals. After this, we set the due date. Let's put the end of the calendar year and then save, and you've now made your first goal. So now in the same way, I'll make a new goal of gross profit margin. I'll type the name in here and then I'll go connect it to the data. I'll connect it to the data in the Finance Insights app and then the Finance Overview. And then right beside gross profit, I have the gross profit margin KPI. I'll connect that. I'll set a target for 50%. I'll put that it's on track. And then I'll put that date in. And then quickly you have a second goal made. As all the goals are connected to Power BI visuals, they update when the underlying Business Central Insights semantic model refreshes and the scorecard stays in sync automatically. The real power of scorecards is combining metrics from different areas of business. So now let's create a goal using the Sales Insights app so we can now have a more holistic view of the business. Let's create one for sales versus budget. So I'll put the name into the goal and then we'll connect our data via the Sales Insight app this time. And let's open the sales table right here. And then once inside the table, we'll click on the table. It's important to note I've clicked just above the columns in this little slither of table at the top. Because if I click the actual column, it just readjusts the column, or if I click anywhere else, it'll use that value. So in the pop-up on the right, you can see all the various measures in the drop-down like so, and I'll select sales. You can see the filters below affecting the value, and it's important to check these. In this case, default company and fiscal year, as they stay saved with the goal. And then you click connect as you have before. Now this is where we will mix things up from our previous goals, as this time for the target, we can use the budget from the same table rather than a manual target. So we go to connect to data and back into the sales table. Now the first thing to point out is this budget drop down on the right, where we'll leave it at up to today, as that is calculated from the last refresh in line with your sales figures. I'll then click in the table and add budget, and this from the drop down here, and then connect. And now once we've done this, we can see that the actual here is higher than the budget, so we can set the status as on track and then go set the date, save, and that's another goal made as easily as that. For this next goal, let's track average daily sales. And to do so, let's go into the sales cube. Now this is the most important thing I want to note. Our reports are highly dynamic, and the most dynamic of them all are our cubes. Inside each cube you have all the measures available on the left, the most of any of our reports. If I open show more and then click true on the right here, you can see the full list, and every single one of them in this big long list is available to you and can be used as goals, giving you a multitude of metrics for any stakeholder's needs, an extremely powerful feature of our apps and useful to all, as every app in all areas of business we cover has a cube. So I'll click average daily sales. Now, as we have some space on this visual on the right here, I can click at this unused section, and in the pop-up you have the average daily sales, just like that. Importantly, it's for the default company and current fiscal year. I connect to that. Now I'm back here. I can set the manual target. Let's say 85,000. We'll set the status as we're below at risk and set the date you're working towards, and then save, and we have another goal track just like that. So that's 4 goals tracked in a matter of minutes. You can then also, back in the workspace, edit each goal. You click edit up here and then select the goal that you want to edit. Over in the pop-up you can set the status rules from here as well, just as we did earlier when creating the on-track goal was over 90%. And then in the settings you can actually add new statuses as well that will suit your particular goal. So you click settings and then on to statuses and then add status. Let's type in ahead of target, give it a color, let's go blue, and then save. And now you've got another status you can track with. When you click on a particular goal, you see your target being tracked in this area here. Because this goal was made just now, nothing is showing, but you'll see it tracked with the peaks and troughs of your business over time. You can click the Show Targets toggle and they will join the visual like so. And importantly for collaboration, you can check in. You set the date you're checking in and then leave notes for your colleagues by using the Include a Note option, and then just type your comment in the box. A great tool for everyone in your business to stay connected on their goals. You can also subscribe to scorecards by using this button over here. You can schedule to receive it whenever you like, just by filling out the details over here, and then you just simply save it down the bottom. You can also follow a goal with the bell icon here. So this thing here, you just click on this and then you'll get a notification when values change. And then you can also share via a link, email, or in Teams through this option up here. And then you just choose your method from the pop-up when it comes out here. And a very useful tool is to create a flow where you can choose a trigger, such as when a goal changes or when current value of a goal changes in these lists here. And that will trigger things like update an Excel table or send an email. And as you can see, there are many options to automate outcomes. So you can choose any of these and make it easy to be alerted when things change. Lastly, you can also link your goals from colleague scorecards. So everyone isn't creating the same goals. To do this, you click Edit and then the new drop down and select Link to Existing Goals, and then choose from their workspace and then select the goal you'd like, and then simply continue. So I'll take one from there. So this enables alignment across your teams. Different departments can view the same KPIs within their own scorecard context, while leadership maintains a centralized view of all performance. I'll now add another one from a different scorecard. And the great thing is, as the underlying Power BI data refreshes, the goal updates everywhere it is linked. This removes manual effort and ensures stakeholders always have access to accurate, up-to-date information. Linking goals eliminates duplication, improves accuracy, and establishes a single source of truth for business performance across your organization. Important to note, you cannot edit it if it's been added from another scorecard. It really is endless how many scorecards for different areas of business you can create and the number of goals that can be included. So now let's show a couple of examples of what can be done. Firstly, with this executive performance scorecard. This scorecard provides leadership with a consolidated view of overall business performance across profitability, sales growth, customer delivery, inventory efficiency, and cash management. It combines financial and operational KPIs, including gross profit and gross profit margin, sales versus budget and sales variance, on-time delivery performance, inventory turnover and sell-through rate, and key working capital metrics such as cash conversion cycle, days sales of inventory, days sales outstanding, and days payable outstanding. Together, these metrics give executives a clear view of whether their business is growing profitably, delivering reliably to customers, managing inventory efficiently, and maintaining healthy cash flow. This operational excellence scorecard focuses on manufacturing and operational performance, helping operations teams monitor production reliability, manufacturing efficiency, cost control, and inventory performance. It tracks KPIs such as on-time and in-full delivery for production orders and for routing, scrap percentage, standard cost deviation, capacity deviation, and inventory turnover. These metrics help identify where production is falling behind schedule, where quality or scrap issues may be emerging, and whether manufacturing capacity and costs are being managed effectively, giving operations leaders the visibility needed to improve production performance and delivery reliability. So now to wrap up what you've just seen. Power BI scorecards provide a powerful way to track and manage business performance. Business Central records the transactions that run your organization day to day. Business Central Insights transforms those transactions into meaningful metrics. Scorecards then take those metrics and turn them into structured accountability. By connecting scorecards directly to your Power BI data, you can automatically track KPIs, monitor progress in real time, and align teams around shared objectives. Instead of manually compiling reports, you have a live, structured view of performance across finance, sales, operations, and inventory. With features such as automated targets, status rules, check-ins, subscriptions, Teams collaboration, Power Automate workflows, and governed workspace design, performance management becomes part of the daily rhythm of business. So rather than simply reviewing what happened in the past, organizations can start managing performance proactively, moving from insight to accountability to action. Thank you very much for watching and have a lovely day.